Good morning, team. We'll start session in a few minutes.
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, hi, good
Yes.
morning.
Yeah. Let's wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have not joined our WhatsApp group, please do join. So where we'll be sharing our next 4 more sessions apart from today's session. There will be a demo class. So if you want to join directly through that link, you can join. So do join. Okay. Thank you for joining early morning. I know it's 6:30 a.m. IST in India and it's winter season. It's very cold outside. Thank you for joining, for taking your time and attending this particular demo class. Fine. What we are going to do is first in our today's agenda, we'll see a few things. What we are going to do with respect to upcoming course. We'll try to analyze that. We'll try to see how current market standard is there, what all things are required. We'll try to just analyze our course and what's required for you to build your career. So we'll try to go through that. And then at the end of the class, I'll take your questions, or in the middle, if you guys have any question, do let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. And we'll discuss on top of that at the end of our class, what is our course structure will be. Okay, coming to myself. Myself is Shiva Sagar. I have around 8+ years of experience in IT industry. For past 5+ years, I've been working on the cloud technologies, where I started my career as a SQL developer. I worked on on-prem systems, on-prem ETL tools and all. Then I slowly, gradually moved to cloud, where I've worked on more than 20+ real-time big data engineering projects, where I have expertised over both AWS and Azure. I worked on AWS projects also, Azure projects also. Even I have hands-on on Microsoft Fabric. So I built few of the pipelines in Microsoft Fabric. My main technologies which I have worked is Snowflake, DBT, and Databricks. Along with that, Matillion is one of the cloud ETL tool, which I have worked few projects as well. Okay, currently I'm working as a data consultant in JP Morgan through one of the reputed MNC, where I'm mainly handling a team as a lead, along with that as a cloud data engineer. This is very small introduction about myself. From past 2 years, I've been working with KSR as a mentor and as a trainer. So in coming class, I'll be explaining more about my experience and all. This is a very short introduction about myself. That being said, what will be our today's agenda? First, we'll try to analyze how does the company make use of data? Who are these data engineers? Why do we actually require data engineers? And what should be our roadmap for modern data engineer? And try to analyze the current job market, what best we can do. That being said, the very first question I have for you guys is, it's been 1 week. Did you guys watch Women's World Cup final? Anyone? No one?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It was a historical moment for India as women's won their very first World Cup. It's a motivation for each and every upcoming generation. We know that our first men World Cup was won in 1983, followed by that there was a storm of cricket fans. All cricket, whatever the things is there, it started growing in India. In the same way, no one knew about women's cricket a lot. They used to not follow, but from now, it's a new start for Indian women cricket. But I have few things to ask. If you have followed closely with respect to the World Cup, Team India won their first 3 matches, followed by they lost their 3 matches. At that point of time, there was a lot of criticism on top of Team India. They were saying, you can't play cricket, only you can win against a weak team. You cannot win against a strong team. Australia and England were dominating in Women World Cup. They have won, either there are only Australia or England. These are the teams who have won the Women World Cup. And New Zealand was one of the teams which have won only once. No other team has won, and there were a lot of criticism. Did you guys believe in Team India at that time? Anyone? Anyone who did not believe? Okay. Okay. So what I meant to say is, see, Team India got started with a very strongly. Everyone were very happy. They were playing well. But in the middle phase, there were some bad patches. They lost the match. But what matters most is how well you finish. You take anything in your life, you might start it very badly, you might fall, you might rise again, but only depends is how well you finish at the end. The only thing matters is if Team India would have not won the World Cup, again, that would have been bad start for India. Again, they have to start from scratch. They have to work for that. And again, it's a new chapter. But whenever you do anything, that might be a good start, bad middle phase, anything that might be, always try to finish strong. That's what matter. At end, what goal you reach, that's what matter. That being said, there are few facts about Women's World Cup. Did you know when did India reach their first final, Women's World Cup final? Anyone?
2017 against
2017.
England.
Okay. Okay. Others? 2015. Okay. Gish. Okay. Fine. So there are a few facts about Team India. Okay. Milestones are this. Very first international debut which Team India did was 1976. They won their first match in Jan 1st, 1978, but they were finalists in Women's World Cup in 2005, which they faced with respect to Australia. Australia was the first team that India lost in finals. They were runner-ups in 2005, and no one even knew that there was World Cup going with respect to women in 2005. Even in 2017, Team India had a great chance to win the World Cup. They were playing against England, and they had 7 wickets in their hand, and they had to chase around 38 runs with respect to 42 balls. They had a great chance to win that World Cup. Again, they could not cross that line. But now they were able to cross the very first line, that is in 2025. That was just 1 week before, which they defeated South Africa, and they were able to do one of the record chase also with respect to Australia in semi-final. So many things Team India have achieved. Why are Sagar, you're talking about these all things? If you ask me, now, what is this? What is this? Do you know what is this?
They're doing analytics.
Okay.
They're doing live streaming.
Okay.
I think the third umpire and the different camera angles available for him.
So on which platform did you watch the match?
Hotstar.
Okay.
Geo Hotstar.
Geo Hotstar. Now, all the things which you were watching was taken care by these people who are working closely. There are cameras around the ground, and these are the people who knows what to show inside the live streaming, and they're working very hard. But my question is, if you have seen Geo Hotstar, first it was named as a Hotstar. Now it is named as Geo Hotstar. Why? Do you know? Do you know why?
Because of the joint venture with Geo.
Okay. Okay. Now, as Ambani, what did he do? He started acquiring the stakes of this particular Disney Plus Hotstar. It was owned by Disney. Whatever the Disney is an international company that had a lot of stakes on top of Hotstar, and Hotstar was one of the company which had all streaming rights, everything they were doing. What does Ambani started doing? He started acquiring all the stakes, and he was 51% owner of the company. That's the reason once he get higher number of stakes, so he can take his decision. All members, whatever they're in their particular company, can listen to him. He has that power. So now he rules with respect to Geo Hotstar. Now, so he named his name particularly as Geo Hotstar. But do you know how much amount do Geo Hotstar or Hotstar need to pay for BCCI. BCCI is a body which takes care of all the cricketing terms inside India with respect to India. Now we have IPL. Now we have all the streaming rights which are done with respect to World Cup, or we have bilateral series that is going with respect to India versus Australia. All these things are done. Do you have any idea how much did Jio Hotstar or any streaming people bid for IPL rights? Anyone have any idea about that?
No, actually.
Okay. Any random guess?
Maybe around 2000 crore plus.
2000?
Crore plus.
Okay. Okay. Others?
80 crore per match.
8 crore per match. Okay. Okay.
80.
Okay. 80. Fine. For streaming rights between 2023 to 27, the OTT rights, only I'm saying OTT, the platform where they stream, those rights were sold for $3 billion for IPL. How much is $3 billion? How much is 3 billion?
24,000 crores.
Nearly around 22K.
Okay.
Crore.
23,000 or 20, let's consider 23,000 crores. And if you want to stream anything with respect to normal bilateral series and all, additional for that, they were charging around 3 to 4,000 crores. Now around $3.5 billion they are putting just to stream all the matches. And if you remember last year when there was merger between Jio and Hotstar, your IPL streaming was given completely free. Do you guys know that? Do you guys know?
Yes.
Ambani is giving completely free. He has put $3.5 billion. They are paying $3.5 billion, but they're giving completely free. How does they earn now?
Advertise.
Through advertisement.
Okay. Okay.
Subscription.
Okay. The main question is, how does any company earn if they're going and doing all these things? Now, Team India won the World Cup. Okay, Team India did win the World Cup. Now, each and every shot, each and every player, whatever the performance, whatever they is there, each and everything was producing data for them. Now, how they come to know that I need to pay $3.5 billion for rights? Is it even worth this paying that? Now, how does you are saying ads? Will any ad, any advertisement come and they easily give money saying that, okay, take this particular money and stream? That's not a case. Everything is related to something called as a data. Without data, you cannot come up with this particular exact number. For example, you had each and every ball, whichever was done, that was producing certain statistics, that was producing certain data. And if you have known one certain application called ClickBus, do you follow this application, ClickBus? Anyone?
Yeah, I follow actually
Yes.
for
Okay.
live.
Each and every ball, a baller is balled, they're going and explaining whatever is doing. Now, each and every ball, if it has it 4, it has it wicket, it is on dot, each and every information is there. And at the end of that particular match, there is something called statistic table. You can go and see who have all that information with respect to tournament. Each and everything is there. Now, each and everything you are doing, producing data. Now, how does company exactly earn is now this particular company make use of this particular data. Now, sports broadcaster, what they are doing, they're showing all the real-time trends. They are making use of this data. They are making you hook up with respect to viewership. Now, the longer you hook up with the viewership, you are able to see at the end of the topmost corner there inside your live broadcasting in your OTT platform with respect to Jio Hotstar saying that 10 crore people are watching, 15 crore people are watching, 20 crore people are watching. Have you seen this? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, do you really think there was a match between RCB and CSK last year? That was a very hype up match. It went up to 50 crore people watching live. 50 crore people. What is India population is around 140 crore. And we all know India is still a developing nation. Only 10% of the people still use this all OTT platforms and all. Not everyone is having that much access. But also 50 crore people was watching. Do you think continuously 50 crore people were watching?
I don't think so. I think it's an aggregated data, like how many total have logged in, kind of stuff, rather than at the same time 50 crore watching.
Exactly. So all these things they are making up so that in their UI they're showing, their broadcaster is showing all these things, data, they're displaying all things. If you watch any match, at the middle they'll bring up the graphics and show this is a fastest 100. Virat Kohli is the first man to reach this much number of thousands of runs and all. They're showing all the stats. Seeing that stats only, there is a dopamine hit inside each and every person, and they'll start hooking up and they start watching this particular matches. Now, as soon as they got hooked up, now Ambani has raised the OTT platform saying that 150 rupees per month you can take, or 450 rupees per every month. Or if you want to have a yearly subscription, you can pay 450 for like 1,000 plus some this kind of amount he's going and he's getting hooked up. Now each and every match, each and everything. Now all the information, now whatever you're doing, now during your ads, or whatever the things is there, now during particularly after every over, there is a ads. Now Ambani knows what kind of ads need to be sponsored. They will go and talk with the ads and all say, these are the viewership that is coming. Now you need to pay this much amount for me per match. When this particular match is there, there's a very hyped up match. For example, India, Pakistan, or each and everyone know, have an eye on top of this match. When this particular match is there, I'm going to charge you more for the advertisement. This is how all the data points are collected. Based on that, bids are done. No company is going to waste their money unnecessarily by bidding a lot of amount, because $3.5 billion is not a small amount. Each and every decision, whatever they take, whatever the for better decision or enhancing your fan experience. Nowadays, at every middle of the ad, there might be, you might get bored and you might go away. So they have introduced something called as you can win a lot of things. You can win a ticket, you answer what they do in the next hour. All this kind of games, they're including in that because they know all the data points, what the users are doing. This is how company make use of data. The making use of data, how does company actually grow the revenue? This was during something called as match. They're doing all this, but they still have data. On top of that data, what more they can do? That comes a challenge. For example, any of the IPL team or anything they are doing, first and foremost thing is they want to analyze the player performance, because if they are buying any player in the auction is coming soon. So they need to release certain players. They need to know what's the best batting average, strike rate, consistency, how they are doing. All these things again is produced by data. They need to identify what's the match winning factors. His batting order is wrong. What is effective? These are all things they need to analyze. They need to track the performance of the tournament across the team, how the people are performing and all. They need to compare the statistics about the opponents with respect to that particular game and what are the weakness and strength. Nowadays, if you see in the commentary, any commentary are coming, they are showing certain statistics saying that this player has a weakness against a fast bowler. This player has a weakness against a spin bowler. He's very strong with respect to spin bowler. All these things, if you see, the stats they're showing weaknesses and strength. Based on that, they are planning against the bowlers. You have seen all these things. Earlier, they used to not do all this because now I have a lot of data. Based on this data, even teams are working. And if you see dashboards, everything they need to do because they need to analyze the trends. Now, if you just provide anything, Excel, CSV, or any data, no one can come and take the decision. They need to build a beautiful dashboards where each and coach or selector can just visualize that particular trends and analyze what's best for their team. And even broadcaster make use of these particular dashboards to show for the people who are watching the live matches. In this way, all the real-time insights using that, we have to track everything. These all things have been done. How we are able to do this with respect to one role inside data field, that is nothing but data analyst. Now, analysts are the people who are working on top of all these things. They track all the information, whatever the data you have, they come up of this. Now they make a beautiful dashboards, they give all the insights. And if you know, there is a job called the cricket analyst, one of the highest paying jobs inside any of the data field is cricket analyst, because they have to do a lot of work. They have to bring a lot of insights. And what does the data analyst do is nothing but they turn your past data into useful insights to grow the revenue. This is one of the most important role inside your field, any of the data field. Fine, Sagar. You said data analysts are the people who are working on the past data. Now, if any company need to grow, should they only rely on the past and present, or they should think about the future also? What do you think? What do you guys think?
They should think about the future as well.
Okay. Now we need to analyze something called the future perspective. Now, how does future perspective do? Now comes there is something called the data analyst. Now, data scientist. Now, what does data scientist do? They bring certain predictable models that broadcast whatever the outcomes is there. Now, if you see nowadays, they are showing win prediction. How much Team India or any Australia can win? How much percentage is a prediction? You are seeing all these things. How that is possible is they have built certain models. Based on that, they have all the insights and all. Based on the past experience, how the team have performed and all. Seeing that particular statistic, they're predicting this particular outcome. We can do that. They have done all these machine learning models, everything to identify whether the player X can perform under this particular pressure. If this particular, they see the past data, and also based on that, if this particular situation comes, how this particular player can work. All these things they are analyzing. They create the rating system for the complex stats and all consistency, impact, all what are the strengths, how can he do with respect to future trends, how can he work on top of that, all what are the what if scenarios, if this scenario comes, what should be your batting order, what should be your bowling order, what should be your team combinations, how does the sentiment affect on top of fans. Now RCB did not won any of the cup for past 18 years. They won their first IPL match in 2025. As soon as they won the IPL, now RCB is for sale for $2 billion. Now, why do you think they waited for 18 years to sell their franchisee for $2 billion?
Just to increase the brand value, because without winning a cup, the brand value was not much as compared to the other peers who
Do you
have
think so?
won.
Do you think so? RCB brand value is not that much without income.
Without a cup, I think.
If you ask me, the brand value was much more because RCB did not have any cup. Because of the loyalty, the word of mouth, whatever they were saying, even though without cup, fans are coming, they are analyzing their sentiments and all. They're doing a lot of things. That is not an answer. That was a good guess, but I don't think so that was the correct answer. Any other thing that comes in your mind?
Maybe the stampede situation that might have
Okay.
yeah.
If you think stampede situation was the thing, then that should affect the brand, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, who is the backbone of RCB?
Maybe
Virat
because
Kohli.
their key players are leaving.
Okay. Now, backbone of RCB is Virat Kohli. How long do you think he'll be playing IPL?
another 3 to 4 sessions at max.
Okay. Now they know that once Virat Kohli is gone, they might come some key player, but not as popular as Virat Kohli. Now is the best time to sell, and they have a cup. They have won the cup. They're at the very right place, and $2 billion of what they're asking. Do you know Vijay Mallya at what price did he purchase IPL team, RCB IPL team? Any guess?
Around 500 to 700 crores at that time.
Okay. Okay. In 2018, it was around $150 million. From $150 million, that has come to $2 billion. That's how a company has grown. Now, how can they predict all these things? Now, if they are going and selling the particular RCB, now they need to analyze what might be the reaction in social media, what might be the reaction of fans, all these trends they need to analyze, and then they need to come up with the best of the best analysis. Now they need to optimize their workload. They need to see how the players are, fitness is there, injuries are there. All these things they are tracking each and every ball trajectory. If you see there is a trajectory, they are showing if this number of balls, if he has spacing, he has lost his wicket. These are all things trajectory they are analyzing. They are converting the past data into a future prediction. That's where your data scientist will come to the picture, who is mainly predicting the future. Based on that, outcome is coming. That's the reason companies can make use of data scientists also to run their business. Now, I'm saying data analysts are the backbone for the past. Data scientists are the backbone for the future. But this is a course for data engineer. Why are you talking about data scientist and data analyst? Do you have anyone have this particular question? I'm saying without data scientist and data analyst, no company can survive. But this course is for data engineer. Do you think I'm saying you need to learn data scientist, data analyst, along with data engineer?
Might be data engineering is the backbone for both this data science and data analysis.
Okay. Okay. Now,
To do the past and the future analysis, the huge amount of data is required. For that, data engineers are required.
okay. Okay. Now, for the past analysis, what are the data analyst people are doing? They need to build a Power BI reports. They have done, shown a lot of things they need to do. Based on that, they are analyzing the past and they're showing all these things. They are coming up with some insights. But what they required? They required data. Now, data scientists are predicting the future. But again, what they require? They require the data. Where does this data rely? Now you are streaming a lot of things in IPL. A lot of data is generated. ClickBuzz is generating data. There might be other applications that are generating data. Any companies that need to come up with any ads or anything, they need to acquire this data. And each and every analyst or data scientist cannot go to that particular source and work on top of data. So that's the reason we required something called as a data engineer. Now, data engineers are the one who build and maintains the data pipeline. They are the one that collects the match data information that can be from various sources, that can be coming from databases, CSV, Excel sensors, or any social media. Anything can be the source. There might be n number of sources. Data engineers are the one who are bringing that all the data. They ingest that particular raw data into one of the platform. That might be Snowflake, that can be Databricks, that can be any of the cloud. They will bring into one unified platform. Once that particular data is there, they will be cleaning that data, organizing that data so that your analyst or scientist can get accurate or useful insights out of that, or create any predictable models. And then they need to automate this process, because every time an engineer cannot come and bring that data and give this particular information, because nowadays data is generating each and every minute. data is generated, we need to automate that process. We need to automate that workflows. That is also done by your data engineer. Again, integrate various data systems, as I explained, then design certain models or tables that are required for your Power BI reports or any of the predictable models. And also the main thing is security and governance and data quality. The more the quality of data, the more the good insights you can come out of that. And this quality can be maintained only by the data engineer. And of course, if you don't have optimized performance, there is no use of this. The more speed and scalable is your application, the more easily your Power BI team or data analyst team or data scientist team can work, and all your analysts or data scientists work closely with your data engineer. In the short, even though the front line workers of any of the data field are data analysts or data scientists, but the backbone for them are data engineer, where they make a right data reach to the right people at the right time. This is what data engineers do. Now, any doubts so far? Any doubts with respect to data analyst, data scientist, or data engineer? Have you got till now? Have you got till now? Okay. Now there is a saying that data is a new oil. Do you all agree with this? Do you all agree with this?
Yes,
Okay. Can you elaborate on top of that? Why you think?
because there are so many, companies now, and every company needs data to operate.
Okay.
So in that way, data is kind of a oil for them to run that company.
Okay. Okay. Exactly. Now, each and every task you do, now we are taking class KSR Data Vision, we are populating data. If you're scrolling, you're populating data. You're going through Instagram reel, you're populating data. You're just buying anything in the online, you're populating data. Each and every task you do, you're picking call, populating data. You're setting alarm, populating data. Whatever you do from the morning to night, each and every person, as long as he's using any of the smart applications, he's populating the data. That's the reason data is called as a new oil, because we all know without oil, we cannot do our day-to-day activity. We cannot travel, we cannot cook, we cannot do anything without oil. Even electricity is generation requires oil, or lubricants or anything can be done with respect to oil. The same way, now data is a new oil, which is abundant or raw form. Now that's required refining, that need to do all this infrastructure, everything, how the pipeline we need to build. And there where your data engineer comes. Main task they will be doing is they collect the data, they store the data, they process the data, and they optimize the data. And again, I'm saying without data engineers, no business can access the clean, reliable data. They cannot make a data-driven decision. They cannot have any customer experience improvement. No business growth can happen. That's the reason, again, there is no job, no business analyst job, no data analyst job, no data engineering job, or no AI or Power Platform or any other jobs without data engineer. This is the hard and fast rule for current market standards. Fine. Now, what about this is what's the current? Now, what about the future? If you come and ask, now, if you all know, I was just reading 2 to 3 days before, they're saying 2026 is going to be a AI bubble. Now, what do you understand by this bubble? Do you know what is bubble? Anyone?
Bubble means something like whichever don't have that much of capacity or that much of usefulness, but it is created by hype, by social media or by saying much more about that thing. So it creates unnecessary
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Now they're saying AI is a bubble. We never know when this bubble is going to blast. They're saying 95% of the Gen AI projects, whatever the team is building, whatever they have raised the amount, are not producing any revenue. 95% of the projects. We never know what is going to happen. Okay. It's unpredictable, I know. The same thing happened in 2000, during 1995 to 2000, there was something called as a World Wide Web bubble that had happened. That was where the time the internet was introduced. A lot of companies were back of that, and there was something called as a NASCOM, which was skyrocketed like anything. And during 2000, they came to realize that even though internet is a good, but we have just hyped it like anything, and there were a lot of companies that was closed during 2000 to 2005. But still the internet era keep on growing. For next 15 years, there was an era for a role called as a Python developer, Java developer, UI developer, or any backend developer who mainly build a website. That was the time for them, which was the job was growing like anything, because that was the internet era. All the people were trying to come with respect to internet. They were coming, and that era was there. Now still it is there. It's not as it has not gone. Still a lot of companies need to build their website. Without website, they cannot access anything. That will be there. But that was the time which was growth was there. There's a bubble. Now again, AI is a bubble. They're seeing that AI is bubble now, but maybe out of 100 companies, 10 company can produce certain useful things. 90% of the people can go bankrupt if they don't give a desirable output for the investor. But do you think out of these 90 people, if they lose all these particular shareholders or they lose their company, will they keep quiet? They will
No.
maybe out of 90, again 50% of the company can shut down. They cannot survive and they cannot grow out of that. But again, 50% of the people, they work on their past mistakes and they come up with a new innovations. Now, even though they're saying AI is a bubble or anything, but this is a very starting stage, very early stage. How we had an internet boom era in the 2000, in the same way now 2020 is a AI era that is get started. There's a hype, a lot of things hype is going. Even there is no use case. A lot of companies are pushing, saying that we are building AI, we are doing so many things. Now Gen AI, they are saying, because what does the Gen AI people do is we already have a inbuilt models with respect to Gemini. We have the open AI models. On top of that models, we can directly build these AI products that can make use of this underlying models, and they can give some output. But there is no literally use case at this moment for the most of the projects still having this particular issue. But what I would say, your data related jobs will keep on growing for next 10 to 15 years for sure. But for next 5 years, we cannot predict what will happen in the IT field, because there is always a wave of high and lows in IT field. But for sure, by 2030, your big data or data engineer job is keep on growing. If you ask why, because in early days, whenever there was internet boom era, this particular era was there, the people used to use something called as on-prem system, where they kept all their data, because at that time there was no huge data was populated. But since internet become very cheap, that time internet was not cheap. As soon as internet become cheap, a lot of smart applications start booming. A lot of data keep on increasing. Now a lot of companies still have their data in the on-prem system. They need to move to something called the cloud system, where they have the flexibility, they have the scalability, where they can easily work on top of the applications, where they don't need to worry much about the infrastructure. They just need to concentrate on the business. So they will be moving. We are in that phase of migrating from the on-prem to cloud version. So that will only take for next 5 years. And then we will be started populating data for AI project. So far, we are populating data still for Power BI because a lot of companies are still analyzing their past and they're trying to see how they are growing. Now, in the future, they will be analyzing for the future. They're predicting. So for that also, they require data. As I said, data engineers are the one who brings the data to the end users, that can be data scientists or the data analyst. So your big data job will keep on increasing for sure. And this is a challenge from KSR. Now also, if you want, we'll create a resume and we'll give for you. If you just go and keep that particular resume and keep your notice period for 15 days, for sure you will get 2 to 3 calls based on the big data tools. Now, there might be a low number of openings for data analysts, there might be low number of openings for data scientists, but for sure, data engineering jobs are keep on growing because there is a requirement for the data engineers. That being said, now what exactly data engineer project issues are there? Now, if you see, there is a complex infrastructure that is involved. There are a lot of on-prem system, multi-cloud, whatever the things are there, they have data segregated in different sources and all. So many maintenance, time management, upgradation, client headache, so many things are going on. The scalability factor is there. Performance is not there. If you increase the performance, the cost is affecting. If you take care of cost, the performance is affecting. So a lot of things is there. There are a lot of high coding platforms. Whatever the clients are looking at, they're looking for the low coding platforms for any projects, because as a engineer or data engineer, you will be working for the project for 6 months or 1 year. Once you build a particular project, you'll be moving on to the next project. But that particular pipelines or that particular code need to be maintained by the clients. And if it's very high coded platforms or any high coding like Python, Spark are there, it's very hard to manage or in the longer run. So they're looking for something called the low code platforms or something called the low code with respect to SQL platforms or anything which can work easily with different data. That can be your database files, APIs, data lakes, or anything where you can easily connect with different ETL tools. ETL tools are the tools which brings your data. All these things, they are having a lot of headache. So what they are looking for? They're looking for mainly low coding platform configuration, mainly preferable for UI based or SQL based solutions, minimum to minimum Spark or Python coding. That doesn't mean that without this, we cannot work with the big data projects and all. There are few projects which mainly require this, but minimal use of your Python and Spark architecture is required, where you can easily plug in and play with respect to different tools, and they can bring the data and orchestrate the data, and they can build that particular pipeline. Then it can easily integrate with different clouds. There are mainly 3 major clouds, that is AWS, Azure, or GCP. Now they want to easily integrate seamlessly with the data sharing across the platform without much headache. Now auto scaling should be there. Now, if you have a lot of data, TBs of data is coming, automatically my compute power should also increase to process that particular data. And if there is no data that is being used, automatically that should reduce because the cost is mainly effective in the cloud. And if we have one uniform platform, now, as I said, Power BI are the end users who are making use of data, and ML or AI engineers are which are the data scientists, they are making of data. And I required one platform where all the data will come and keep, and so that the team will come and make use of this data. And mainly the governance part is also important. Without governance, you cannot keep the security on top of data. And all these things are taken care by one of the tool called Snowflake. Now, Snowflake is designed to meet all this client expectation. It is very easily integrated with the popular tools and even works on top of your major cloud. It requires minimum coding, mainly depends on something called a SQL. 80% of the code, whichever you write inside Snowflake, is SQL, and it ensures both scalability and cost effective. You can work as a data engineer. You can keep your data as a data lake. If you want to just keep your data, you can keep. You want to work as a data warehousing part, you can do that. If any data scientist team want to build their LLM models or any application they can do, you want to build any data application or you want to exchange data, a lot of things can be integrated with respect to Snowflake. That's the reason your Snowflake is having high demand in the market, because it's very easy to use and it goes very well with a lot of tools for that, and it has a lot of inbuilt features. Now, I'll not be explaining about this inbuilt feature, but you can say that this is a plug and play feature where you're going to pay only for what you are going to use and what are the features you are using, and they keep on increasing the features, and day by day that they were going to make your work much more easy and seamlessly. Any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? Have you got till now?
I have a doubt. Yeah, so what I heard that compared to Snowflake, even Databricks, the costing is smaller.
I'll come to that. Give me some time. I'll come to that. Okay. I'll explain your question. I know that.
So this Snowflake is a data warehouse where we store the data, or
Snowflake started as a data warehouse, but
okay.
now it is more than data warehouse. It works as a data lake also. It works as a lake house also. We can integrate AI ML also. You can integrate all these applications. It started as a data warehouse, but not anymore. Okay. Now coming to your question, who asked that question with respect to Databricks?
Yeah, Misa.
Okay. Now, in the current market standard, okay, if you want to go into data engineering job, I would not say go and become Azure data engineer or AWS data engineer. If anyone saying GCP data engineer, don't follow this. If you want to dominate in data engineering job, you go and concentrate on only two tools, that is Databricks and Snowflake. If you are very good with coding, if you want to work a lot of coding things, if you want to go deep dive into Spark architecture, Python, so many things with respect to that, enter into Databricks. If you want to have a low code, I'm okay with to work mainly with respect to SQL. I need to work with the low code ETL tools like dbt or other things, then go with Snowflake. Now, whatever your Snowflake can do, your Databricks can do, and whatever Databricks can do, Snowflake can do. The only difference is Databricks depends on something called a Spark architecture, whereas Snowflake has their own architecture, their own build, and everything, whatever you execute inside Snowflake, they are trying to convert into SQL and then they execute. So it is a SQL-based application, your Snowflake, where your Spark-based application, your Databricks. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now coming to your data engineering, whatever the job openings are there. Now, how you need to master your data engineering roadmap, or what is your roadmap? What should be your? Now, if you see any data engineering role you take, the four pillars I would say is SQL, then comes Python, then comes your data warehouse concept, and at the end there is something called a Spark, which is integrated with respect to Python, that is PySpark. These are the four fundamentals to go and take any of the data engineering job. Either it might be Azure, it might be AWS, GCP. This is a fundamental. Without this, no any of the data engineering jobs will be there. Now, without SQL, your data scientist job is not there, data analyst job is not there, business analyst job is not there, Power Platform is also not going to have. Any data related job you go and take, SQL is must and should. Without SQL, you cannot survive inside the data field. The next is if you want to go and work with coding, even though a lot of people are still using SQL, but what does company is doing? They are demanding Python. Now you don't need to be a pro Python developer. You need to understand how much Python is required to build a data pipeline. You need to understand building a logic, whatever the logic is required for creating a particular Python, making use of inbuilt data structures, all those things, and how you can integrate with respect to the something called a Spark. Now, Spark is a tool which is mainly used to work with a big data. Big data is nothing but huge of TBs of data you have. The Spark is where it comes. It's a distributed system. It distributes and works. that doesn't mean now again, if you come and ask if Spark can work with TBs of data, now if you come and ask Snowflake cannot do, no, Snowflake can also do TBs of data, but some of the application make use of Spark, and these are the 4 pillars. Whatever the job you go and take, you have either SQL, data warehouse, Apache Spark, Python. Without this, no data engineer jobs are there. Now you have to first master this particular tools. Once you master fundamentals, now you know the fundamentals. Now where you are going to apply this particular fundamentals, then comes the tools. Now these are tools just for the namesake, but they depend on what fundamentals. If you want to write any code in Snowflake, you need to depend on SQL. If you want to write something in DBT, now DBT is a low code platform which is mainly used for transformations. Now it integrates with different data warehouse or data lake. That is, it depends on top of Snowflake or Databricks or Fabric or Synapse or Redshift. These are the data warehouse tools which consumes the power of that, and you write a simple SQL code in the small modular base where it goes and executes inside that particular warehouse. And you want to go with a low coding, DBT comes into the picture. Now again, it is dependent on what? Your SQL. Now, Snowpark is nothing but, as I said, if you need to work inside Snowflake with respect to Python or Spark, Snowpark will come into the picture where you are writing code in form of Python, and whatever your Spark code was doing, it does that. But again, what? It doesn't depend on Spark architecture. In the backend, it goes and converts into SQL, and they are going and executing. And then comes a Databricks. Now, what Databricks is doing? It is mainly dependent on your Spark architecture, as I said. Now, whatever you're doing, PySpark, SQL, whatever code you write inside Databricks, it make use of this Spark architecture and it runs. And we have few of the open table formats, that is iceberg tables or delta formats. Now, even though these tools are there, now there might be data inside your raw format, that is there inside CSV format, JSON data. These kind of data, you cannot directly go and write on top of this. You cannot read, you can go and read the data. If you open the data, you can do that, but you cannot edit that particular data. You cannot delete, you cannot work directly on top of the raw data. At that time, this particular open table format, something called a data lake or delta lake, and iceberg tables come into the picture where you directly go and connect to your raw data. On top of that, you go and do transformations. Now, your Databricks mainly depends on something called as Delta Lake in the backend. It is working on top of that, and it makes use of PySpark or Spark to execute. Whereas Iceberg is open table format. Again, you can go and integrate with Databricks also, but it goes well with something called as Snowflake or AWS. That is, projects are with respect to that, and you need to know that. Now, once you know your fundamentals, you're working with that, you know how to make use of that particular coding in with respect to platform. Now all the code you have written, now you need to go and automate that particular pipelines. You need to do that. Then comes the automated process like AWS Glue is one of the ETL platform where you can make use of either PySpark to write a code, or you have virtual, you can go and create a pipeline that you can do. There is something called as Airflow. Now, Airflow is one of the tools which you can mainly using for automation of the pipeline, where you build the workflows, orchestration you do end-to-end process from the start. You need to extract the data, you need to transform the data, you need to load the data. All that process can be done with respect to Airflow. But again, to build any pipeline with respect to Airflow, you need to know something called as Python, because using Python code, we are building a pipelines. No, I don't want to use coding. I just want to use something UI-based applications. I'll use something called the ADF, Azure Data Factory, which I'll make use of UI, or I'll make use of something called as Matillion. Matillion is also some of the ETL tool where you do what? Extract the data, load the data, all those things you do with respect to UI. Just drag and drop and you do. Apart from that, we need to master one of the cloud. Either it might be Azure, it might be AWS, and your Snowflake, a lot of projects are with respect to AWS, whereas Databricks, a lot of projects are with respect to Azure. Why? Because your Azure is integrated tightly with Databricks. They have created one of the service called Azure Databricks service, which directly direct towards a Databricks application, and you can directly orchestrate that particular pipeline very seamlessly with respect to ADF. That is Azure Data Factory. That is one of the application inside the Azure services. That's the reason a lot of 80% of projects with respect to Databricks are with respect to Azure. But your Databricks is an independent company, your Snowflake is an independent company, and they're competitor to each other, whereas your Snowflake, a lot of projects are with respect to AWS, but it can easily integrate with respect to Azure also. It can go integrate with the Airflow, Matillion, DBT, lot of tools it can go and work seamlessly, whereas your Databricks required little bit tweaking because it goes only well with respect to ADF till now. Now they are working a lot. They are making their own ETL tools. They have introduced something called Lakehouse and all. Even Snowflake has introduced their own ETL tool called OpenFlow. Now, since they are competitor to each other, how you have something called a Samsung versus iPhone? Every year there is a competition. If anything new feature Samsung brings into the picture, your iPhone will try to bring that feature in the next year, or vice versa. In the same way, your Databricks and Snowflake are competitive to each other. Every time they will be competing, and these two are the application that will be ruling your data-related jobs. After doing all these things, you need to understand how you can integrate your tools with respect to GitHub, because you need to move your code from one environment to another, and you need to make sure that whatever you are developed, that is in a live ways, so it is without any without any issues, that should run the pipeline seamlessly. For that, you need to learn something called the GitHub, how you can integrate this application. These are the tools that are widely asked in any of the data engineering jobs. If you have in your resume Snowflake, DBT, SQL, Data Warehouse, Python, Spark, you have covered almost 50% of the job market. If you add Databricks, Iceberg, Delta Tables, you covered 70 to 80% of the job. If you have other tools with respect to this, you almost covered 90 to 95% of any of the job openings. It can be with respect to Azure, it can be with respect to AWS. You are good to go, because each and every fundamentals is same. That is SQL, Python, Spark is same. Only you are making use of how to integrate that with respect to tool. If you learn one tool, it hardly takes 2 weeks to learn the other tool, because both are having same fundamentals. Any doubt in the roadmap? Any doubt in this roadmap? Okay, thank you. Now, coming to our course. Now, what will be our Snowflake data engineering roadmap or plan? How we are going to plan this? The very first phase will be learning SQL. Now, as I said, SQL is a fundamental. Now, whatever you required for something called a Snowflake, the fundamentals will be dealt in first 3.5 weeks. We'll learn from completely scratch to advanced, and we'll learn each and every concepts. We'll cover our fundamentals. We'll build one end-to-end project, that is Netflix data engineering project. We'll solve more than 350 coding questions. Along with that, whatever the real-time questions, whatever the interview questions, whatever is there, from the day one, we are getting started for interview preparation. Now, once we finish our SQL, we'll be mastering our Python. That will go for 3.5 weeks. Whatever is required for building your data pipelines, each and everything will be learned in this 3.5 weeks. Now, first 7 weeks, we are giving for completely foundation. Once we are good with foundation, then the phase 3 will come into the picture. That is with respect to Snowflake, DBT, and Matillion. Now, for 8 weeks, we'll be learning Snowflake and DBT, and we'll integrate each and every whatever fundamentals we have learned. Into that, we are building all the pipelines. We'll learn end-to-end use cases, more than 15 plus use cases in Snowflake, 10 plus use cases in DBT, and around 5 to 7 plus pipelines in Matillion. Each and everything will be done. And with respect to that, you'll build one end-to-end dynamic healthcare related project in Snowflake that will go up to 7 to 8 hours, and one end-to-end supply chain related project in DBT that will go up to 3+ hours. Now, once we have completed this up to phase 3, you are good to get started with the interview. We'll help you for after this particular phase. We'll help you for LinkedIn optimization, whatever the interview, mock interview, whatever the project building profile, all these things will help you out. You will be good to get started with interview, because there will be a lot of folks who will be having 90 days notice period and all. They might not get calls initially. So we'll start phase of interview, and what if you have any issues and everything, we'll be helping you out. Along with that, on the phase 4, you will be learning ADF and Airflow orchestration. Now we can seamlessly integrate all the pipeline, monitor, scheduling, all these things integrate with respect to Snowflake and automate this process for 2 weeks. Now you are giving interview, you are learning. As soon as you learn this particular skill, you will add that into your resume. You will upgrade your resume, and then you start giving again. The more calls will be coming, and then in the phase 5, 2.5 weeks, we will learn something called a Spark, PySpark, Delta tables, Snowpark. Now, whatever we are learning with respect to PySpark, we'll integrate that with respect to Databricks so that you can go and show in your resume Databricks also. Our main aim will be low-code platform, that is SQL with respect to Snowflake. But if you have Databricks, you are targeting that wide range of job openings. So I will be showing for 2.5 weeks, we'll learn whatever with respect to Spark or PySpark, because to run any pipeline inside AWS pipeline, if you want to learn, you require this particular Spark. And if you want to integrate with respect to ADF any pipeline, you require PySpark with respect to Spark. So we'll be learning 2.5 weeks fundamentals and all. Again, you have covered your 4th pillar. Now, after that, you will be having phase 6, where we'll be seamlessly integrating with respect to AWS, whatever the projects are there. All the important services will be going and learning. In this way, for next 5.5 months, we'll be taking care of each and everything, whatever is there, we'll take that. And then phase 7 is your career acceleration phase. Now, after the phase 3, that is after 3 months nearly, you will be getting started with interview during your last notice period. Now you have come to the point where you need to accelerate your career. You need to get a multiple job openings. In that way only you are going to increase your pay. That's where, since you have covered most of the tools now, as soon as you that, we'll be giving all the interview questions, everything that will be helping then and there, because from the day 1 itself, we are getting started with our interview preparation. We'll practice more than 3+ SQL questions, 2+ Python questions, 2+ PySpark questions. We'll build 15+ use cases in Snowflake, 10+ in DBT, 20+ real-time pipelines with respect to ADF, Airflow, AWS. These all things will be taking care. And this is how our roadmap or 5.5 month course is going to look like. If you have any doubts, do let me know. Are we good? Any doubts?
How it will, suppose someone is more experienced, like 10 years of experience someone has, and will this course will help him to get that interview? Because at that point of career, it will suppose the last one 5 to 6 years of experience.
Okay. For
Yeah.
that particular thing only, this particular slide is there. Now, if you see current market standards, whatever the projects are there with respect to Snowflake DBT, ADF, around 40% of the jobs are there. Whereas again, Azure and Databricks, around 35 to 40% jobs are there. Whereas other tools like the big data, Synapse, Fabric, these all still in the very early phase, around 10 to 20% are there. If you see the job market, 40%, 45% is AWS, around 40 is Azure. Now, with respect to our course, we are targeting with 80 to 90% of our job market. Now, if you are with respect to 5+ years of 10+ years, now we cannot go and show 10+ years in data engineer. Since you're getting started, you need to show at least 5+ years. You're senior more folks. At that time, you will be working as something as a full stack data engineer, where you need to know each and every tool. So if you know Snowflake, Databricks, SQL, Python, PySpark, Spark, all these tools, you are good for next 5 to 6 years. No need to worry. There might be few of the features that will be including. Then and there you need to refer the documentation, or with respect to any project requirement, you need to upskill then and there. But for 5 to 6 years, you no need to worry. And since you have a lot of experience, you can demand whatever the years of experience into 5 to 6. That doesn't mean now you have 10 years of experience, and if you have 10 lakhs, now suddenly it will go to 50 lakhs. I'm not saying that time. Now it is a slow process, because any of the IT related jobs, they will never give this much hike suddenly. You need to get first offer for maybe 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs, they might go, since you have 10 years of experience. Then you need to go give multiple offers, you need to get, then slowly you can increase that. Okay, if you give how best your negotiation, it depends all that particular skills. But if you are having 10+ years of experience, for sure you need to have multiple skills, and you need to know that. And in our project, whatever we do, it is not a theory-based project. It's completely practical. 85% of the course is practical. Whatever we build, each and everything is practical. And if you do each and everything for next 5 to 6 years, you don't need to worry. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, one more thing. Suppose someone gets the job because they do not have that experience, and after going into that job, there will be a different scenario, like actual world, like how it is. Because here we will be practicing on something, and there it will be the scenarios will be different. How to deal with that?
Okay. See, what happens is if you do any, not only this course, okay, you take any course, whatever you do, they cannot bring the real time project and show you this is how my what are the projects are going. What happens, one project might differ with another project, the requirement keep on changing, because as I said, there are n number of sources are there, n number of things will bring. But what does the foundation is your SQL, Python, data warehouse, and Spark. If you know this, you can work with any of the scenario. If you know how to code, now, again, I'm saying nowadays there are a lot of AI integrated tools are there in any project. Now, even I will be not coding inside my real project. The only challenge we'll be having with respect to data engineering is clearing the job. But once you clear the job, there will be ChatGPT integrated in all the companies, because they're pushing the use of Gen AI products to automate our productivity and all. If you are good with coding, if you're good with foundation, anything you can go and build. For doing that only, whatever the projects we are building 7 to 8 projects that will be completely real-time projects, and I will try to give as much as real-time experience you have. But again, we cannot say that how real projects are working, because one project differs to another project. But that foundation, what you require to work in any of the project, that will be for sure given. I can guarantee you one thing: you will be knowing more knowledge than whatever the current data engineers are working in the project that are working from the start. From them, you'll be having more knowledge, because you are putting that extra efforts. You will be you're learning all the foundation, you're learning back end how it's working. You know all this stuff. So you will be having that particular more knowledge than the actual 3 to 4 years of experience guys that they are working, because their main job will be to do only the activities. They won't think about theory part, how backend it's working. They'll be just coding and all. They'll be doing these things. But you, as you're doing all this course, you're learning from scratch, you'll be having that foundation for sure. You'll be not facing that particular issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other doubts? Any other doubts?
Yeah, I have one doubt. So mostly I have seen when it comes to data engineering, mostly in the interview, they are focused on how we can improve the pipeline when it relates to terabytes or petabytes. And they mostly focus on PySpark related questions. So how we can improve on our side on those things?
Now, the same thing like optimization part, how we have to do each and everything, we'll be explaining in the class. There is a specific class for that. Now, real-time projects, once we complete our project, related to projects, whatever the questions, real-time questions that will be asked, that will be shared. For example, let me show you that. Meanwhile, if anyone has any questions, do let me know. I'll be showing that.
Okay.
Amesh, are you there? Mahesh, are you there?
Yes, Sagar.
Can you please reset?
Sorry?
Can you please reset the number of it is
Yes.
giving?
Yeah. So in real time, guys, you can write an email to support@datavision.com so our team can fix it immediately. Yeah. So let me try to fix now.
Okay.
Sagar.
Meanwhile, anyone have any doubts with respect to course? Let me know. I'll show you a few things.
So what are the data titles they post on LinkedIn or Naukri?
Okay. Now, what happens is earlier they used to paste like this. They say AWS data engineer. They used to say Azure data engineer. Nowadays, this is all gone. They say only data engineer. Inside this data engineer, They have all the tools integrated, whatever. Even though that particular tools are not required, they'll ask this because they are thinking about the future. If any project comes, any resources are there, we need that particular resource available. So they include each and everything. But after this particular course, you can target for Snowflake developer, Snowflake data engineer, AWS data engineer, Azure data engineer, or just a data engineer. These all are the titles you can go and target. Anything with respect to Snowflake, anything with respect to Databricks inside that particular job role, you can go and target. If you're extensively working with Snowflake, then they are called as Snowflake developer. You're working with Snowflake along with DBT, Matillion, ADF. These are some of the tools. They are called Snowflake data engineer. You're working with each and every application with respect to AWS along with Snowflake Databricks. They're called AWS data engineer. You're working with respect to tools and you're working with Azure applications. They're called Azure data engineer. You're working AWS, Azure, everything you're working, then they are called as a generic way as a data engineer. Got it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If you come and see, which was the old course. Wait. Okay. This is our last batch with respect to projects, right? As I said, once we finish our Snowflake end-to-end project, we'll be giving document like this. This particular document have each and everything with respect to project. What is a project? How to explain the project? What you have? So how your source data is coming? Each and everything. How your sprint plan will be there? How you need to explain this? And at the end, what are the related to questions? For example, you have this particular data. How did you implement incremental loading? How do you create? What is the architecture of your project? What are the challenges you faced? How you handle the data? Each and everything with respect to project. What all things you are going to get? That will be provided like this. This is how your document will be there. In this way, we are going to help you out each and everything with respect to project also. Did I answer your question? Who asked that question?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is how your course content will be. Let me show that course content also. Now, if you're new and if you don't have access for our LMS portal, do log into KSR Data Vision. If you're very new user, try to give your email ID and all. As soon as you do, you have to go and say something called the Explore courses. Once you come with the Explore courses, there is something called a Snowflake Data Engineering with Snowflake free classes. Let me see. If you see, there is something called as not this free, or else you go with the free sessions. Once as soon as you click on,
you can click on it, Alex.
Sorry.
Upcoming sessions.
Yeah, you can see upcoming sessions also. Under that, you can come and see there is Snowflake Data Engineering. If you click on that, this is an actual roadmap. You can go and see this particular video also. It's around 40 minutes of the things. Whatever things we are going to explain in the particular upcoming batch, each and every tool is explained here. And if you come down, for you guys, if you are not enrolled, it will ask for you enroll. Now, since I enrolled, now I'll be going and accessing that. Now you can directly come and join the class here only. If you see under class, there is join button. For next 5 classes, all the things will be automatically is there. Now, since this already classes is going on, it is showing as join now. It is live. As soon as live classes is over, in next 1 hour, the particular recorded sessions will be available here. Now, if you come here, there is a course circular, and if you see there is a PDF. Under lesson section, you will have that particular PDF. This is your course structure. Okay, we'll get started with SQL. Each and every fundamentals, whatever the required is there for next 3.5 weeks, we'll do. And while creating, we'll build one end-to-end Netflix data engineering project. And in that, we'll make use of that to learn, do all the coding, how we can improve our coding, complex coding questions and all that can be asked with respect to interview. That we'll be doing so that you're building small project, you are using analyzing data, you're building learning concepts also. That's how we do. After that, usually we go with Python because fundamentals we'll try to cover first. And if you come to Snowflake, I'll show you the syllabus of Python, but Snowflake, each and every from scratch. Around 35 class of each 1.5 hours, it will be there. Each and everything with respect to Snowflake whatever the data loading, unloading, governance part, then incremental loading, advanced features, how to do optimization, how to integrate with GitHub, how all these things will be done, and around 15 plus use cases, around 14 use cases, how we can go and build from basics to advanced. We'll be going and integrating each and every real-time use case. Now, I will be not doing a lot of theory. Only for explaining theory, I'll be doing some PPT or showing some theory, and then directly we'll be going and doing all the real-time use cases. After that, during our Snowflake only, we'll be learning something called the data or warehouse concept. Each and everything concept with respect to data warehouse, and then we'll build one end-to-end data engineering project. That is a dynamic project. It's not a simple project. It will go up to 8 hours, where we'll be building each and everything from scratch. We'll creating store procedures. We'll be doing complex stuff, and we'll build end to end. Now, this is a project which we integrated in our company for more than 1+ years. I have brought a part of that so that you can understand that in 8 hours, we'll be explaining you that end to end. Once that is done, we'll be providing whatever the interrelated questions and all with respect to project that will be given. Then comes a DBT. As I said, DBT is one of the low code platform where you can write a simple SQL code and it will run on top of your Snowflake. Now, you don't want to go with heavy coding. DBT is where it is for low coding. Just write simple code and it will run inside your Snowflake. Now, each and everything we'll be learning with respect to DBT, and we'll learn up to 10 plus use cases inside our DBT. Once we do that, there is one end-to-end project, as I said, that we'll be building, and then Python, whatever is required for Python, from fundamentals, what are the data types, collections, flows, how to build a logic, how to integrate with respect to Snowflake or database, how to work with pandas, JSON, all these things, whatever is required for your data engineer for in 3.5 weeks, we are going to learn each and everything. Now, once we do, we are going and integrating that particular Python inside Airflow pipelines, where we'll build a Python related Airflow pipeline. We'll work with Snowflake and few of the AWS services, and then big data, whatever is required for your Spark. Each and everything will be explained with respect to Databricks, how you can integrate Spark with respect to Databricks. Now, I can explain Spark on top of your any of the IDE like Jupyter and all. Instead of, I'll be explaining in Databricks so that you have look and feel of Databricks, also features of Databricks. It also can go and understand. So you will be going as a multi-cloud data engineer instead of only Snowflake data engineer. Now, each and every component of respect to Spark, because Spark is important for any of the big data engineering role. So we'll be learning that, we'll be deep diving each and everything. And once we do that, we'll build. Now, since your Snowpark and Spark, PySpark is similar, almost 95% of the code, whatever write in Snowpark, that is you are writing inside Snowflake, is same. So we'll be learning parallelly so that you learn Snowpark also, PySpark also. So if you learn one tool, you'll be able to execute the same code in the another tool. So we'll be learning parallelly, and then I'll execute that same project with respect to Databricks and PySpark and Snowpark and Snowflake. I will build one end-to-end project where credit card data analysis will be doing. We'll be building end-to-end project that will go for 3 hours. And after that, I'll be explaining how to use this particular open table format, that Delta Lake, because it is also important with respect to Databricks. And I'll be explaining how to integrate Iceberg table with respect to AWS Glue and Snowflake. Once we do that, now AWS, these are the services we'll be learning, which is widely used in data engineering job. I'll be explaining that, and we'll be building one end-to-end data pipeline with respect to banking domain inside our AWS, which will go, we'll be learning services along with building project. So in that way, we'll learn service also, we'll be building project also, it will be completely end-to-end project. And these are the use cases we'll be implementing inside our project. And one end-to-end streaming pipeline, I'll be showing how to bring the streaming data using Kinesis into our Snowflake. So they have idea on streaming also. And then these are the use cases with respect to ADF. Now, how to bring the data, how to orchestrate data. We are not going to do any transformation in ADF. We'll be working on orchestration part or building the end-to-end pipelines. This also will be done with respect to Snowflake and Databricks. And once we do that, now you'll be having something called Matillion. Now, Matillion is what we are giving as a recorded sessions. If you want, this is also low-code tool, which will go with respect to well with your Snowflake. If you want to add this also, you can go and learn. There are 7 to 8 pipelines which will be building in this, and you can learn this also. This is how your syllabuses look like. Your batch will go for 5.5 months. It depends on how well you are integrating with me, how well you are understanding. If required, it can extend, but 5 to 5.5 months is where it will be going at, and classes will be from morning 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST. IST, Monday to Friday, and in a month, once or twice we'll be taking Saturday classes. Whatever the projects we'll be building with respect to Saturday, because we need to extend some time. But most of the classes will be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. This is how your course look like. And coming to projects, I'll be showing you projects, what all projects we'll be building. I'll show you tomorrow. If you have any doubts, do let me know.
Project any module we will be working on that?
Sorry?
Projects, any of the part of the project we will be working on, you will be showing us the project.
No, each and every project will be building live. There are around 7 to 8 projects.
Okay.
Projects as well will go for 25 hours. Because without project, we cannot explain anything in the interview. I'll show you tomorrow how the project looks like.
Okay. Now, what I mean to say is that once you are shown with the
Yes,
project,
you
then
guys
I
to
can-
have to work on the projects, Rajesh. Like it's not just we are going to be explain and you are just listening. You have to be, and that everything it will be start from the day one. Like example, today he explained about the small topic about Snowflake. Example, I'm saying. So your placement assistance also will start from the day one. The day one when you are enrolled, right? So, but it's not about the resume building and attending an interview. Example, today he explained about the what is the difference between Snowflake data engineering and regular data engineer. So you understand, right? You can try to make an article in your LinkedIn. Try to understand that concept. And tomorrow he explained about AWS or DBT. Understand about DBT, and you can check it in internet also, like what kind of questions may shoot in a real interview about DBT. You can prepare and you can even shoot questions to the your trainer. Also, you can try to write in a small article about DBT. So
Okay.
what happened the next 5 months, an average weekly you at least you are making 2 posts in your LinkedIn. Particularly again it's a interview questions related, but you are posting as you are explaining to someone else. So in a month at least 10 posts. By 5 months it's around 50 posts about only Snowflake cloud engineering or data engineering. So your profile also looks like a perfect data engineer. If anyone recruiter looking at your profile, it will help you to get a better opportunities. Meanwhile, while you are preparing for this article, right, you just not copy pasting, but at least you are doing some research about that. Automatically, it will help you to get a confidence on the skill set and you can able to clear the interview. And also we are helping to make a portfolio. For that portfolio, you have to be explain an end-to-end project, maybe at least in 15 to 20 minutes. Not completely, but 30 minutes you can able to record the conversation, what exactly you are trying to explain. This will boost your confidence. It will help you to clear the interviews as well.
Sure, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? So after this technical concept and Mahesh, I'm going to be handle here until you are getting placed. Even your current package 20, 30, 15, whatever it may be. So to get a better version of the package, I'm going to be guide you people how to make your resume, how to build your portfolio, and which companies you have to be apply, and any other BGV related or else like any other things I'm going to be handled.
Any doubts related to course content, guys?
No.
No, sir. Good.
Okay.
Do we get any license to do practice this particular tool?
Everything is free. We'll guide you that. No need to buy any license. Everything is free.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, in free version only will be open.
So the classes will be starting from 17th.
Today only. Today is the first class. From tomorrow we'll be getting
Today's-
Yeah.
Okay.
And there is no particularly demos will be separate and actual content is separate. Today onwards, it will be the regular session. We just need like we are not going to be charge anything until your 5 classes. Meanwhile, you can check it the classes, the way of teaching, the way of quality. So meanwhile, if you felt comfortable, then you can enroll for the regular course.
Okay.
Okay, and this will be the like a portfolio. Everyone can able to do in your own way. Example, this is one of the recent fresher. In your case, it will come as a Snowflake data engineer or data engineer, and your resume, your GitHub link. Okay, your self intro, you can able to make it here, and your project and technical skills. What are the technical skills here, particularly for you people, you can able to post here. And 2 to 3 projects depends on your comfort. You can able to try to record one conversation, and you can post here. and your certifications, you have anything, you can write an articles and that LinkedIn's you can post here. Okay. So this also going to be help in this one, and there is no cost for this. Apart from this, we have another
Okay.
tool called Intrio Hub, AI Intrio Hub. It's completely built by our internal team. So recently we got an opportunity to some big giant are also planning to invest this, but we are internally working on it. This will help completely to take in a mock interview. Most of the people may be here. I'm just asking one question, guys. Anyone attended last 6 months any interview in this team out of these 30 people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how
Yes.
many
Yes,
people
yes.
not even attended any interview from more than 2 to 3 years? They never tried for any interview. Anyone is there? 2, 3 years, more than 2, 3 years. They never
Yes.
tried for any interviews.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happened recent days, right? I'm observing even the calls I'm getting. 6 years, 5 years, they are staying in the same company until their job is in a threatened. Then they are planning to upskill themselves. These 5, 6 years, they lose their confidence also to face even interview, even to give self intro also. Even their package is very decent package. So right, so this tool help you to take a mock interview by yourself. You can upload your resume, depends on your resume, depends on the JD you got it will shoot the questions. Okay. So and you can take that interview video and you can check alone where you have some issues or else like what kind of queries you have. You can able to help you to get a better confidence while attending the actual interview. And also, example, your friend have an opening for your company, and that JD is different, and your resume is not matching. You can simply upload that JD and upload your resume. It will give the matching and mismatching skills. Example, for same Snowflake Data Engineer, we didn't mention Matillion, but there is another company which your friend want to refer you, but their company JD there is a mentioned as a Matillion. So if your resume don't have Matillion, you can add if required. Okay, you got it right? And it will see the ATS score, readability score, compatibility score, and it will give your overall score for that. And depends on the JD, it will shoot the questions. Okay. Yeah. Any questions, Tim, apart from this? Any questions, guys?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good.
And apart from that, frequently we will try to give the interview questions also. Like we will conduct the interview questions, we will collect from our students as well who attended recent interviews, and we will try to make it as an article, or else sometimes we will try to make it as a YouTube content. Example. So you can see like we will interact with our students frequently and we will collect the interview questions, what kind of questions they got recent days. Our mentors will work with them. So we will try to train our model even better, depends on the latest interview questions. Okay.
Yeah, I have few questions. Like I have noted it down. Like
Yeah, you can ask.
last week I have attended few interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can share it with you, is it fine?
Oh, interview questions you are asking. You can try our tool, that
Yeah,
mock
yeah.
interview tool. All this is updated there and you can get it.
Oh, is it
And
okay?
also we have on
Okay,
our
okay.
channel as well, top 25 Snowflake interview questions, so even Snowflake mock interview, SQL interview questions, Python interview questions. In our channel, you can just go to the KSR Data Vision, type it as a Snowflake interview questions. You will get it.
Okay.
Okay. And you can share with me your interview questions as well.
Yeah, yeah, sure, I can share it.
Sure, Sagar, you can drop for your session. I will take care here.
Sure. We'll meet tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
If you have any doubts, to